Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I accept things the way they are. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I love wasting. I love wasting. I get free. I reap abundantly. I already have everything I need. Wonderful is happening to me right now. Don't you feel it? Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Oh yeah, I accept things the way they are. I will. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Hi!
Good
Welcome to
morning.
the morning. We're the happy campers here.
Happy campers here at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Welcome to the center. You're getting your voice back. So-
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yeah, it's coming back strong.
What's,
Good morning, welcome to the center.
Welcome to the center.
all right.
Good morning, welcome to the center.
All right.
Good morning, happy Sunday.
With my beautiful ladies here.
God.
Everybody should come here, but see these beautiful ladies.
What you say?
And if you'll just sit comfortable in your chair and close your eyes, and we'll do a centering to connect with the one that is the one. And now take a nice breath that's comfortable and peaceful. And being quiet and observing your breath. This is the secret of healing, the secret for harmony in your life. You are now carried through life rhythmically as on a beam of light. God is at the center of your being, that infinite, invisible power source that works while you sleep, that goes before you and prepares the place for you, making those you meet along the way receptive and responsive to the love you express. Listen for the still small voice, I will mind the time. And now you can open your eyes, knowing that all is well.
And so if you would, just return into the silence. And I recognize this holy ground. I recognize that one life, that one infinite presence that I know as God, as Spirit. Infinite love, infinite joy, infinite peace, compassion, wisdom. And I simply anchor myself in this awareness as I speak my word for each person here. I simply know and affirm that God is truly all there is, everywhere present, in all, through all, and back of all, in every thought, word, and activity that takes place today. That this service and everyone in it is divinely blessed. That the inspirational talk today by Reverend Dan is simply one of Spirit expressing itself fully in and through it as Dan. That the words, the feelings, the emotions, the truth, anchored in principle, anchored in awareness, knowing that deep recognizes deep. And I know too, throughout this building and our children's centers, that they too are being uplifted and inspired. That the word is anchoring itself in their hearts and their minds. And that the music today is simply that of Spirit singing out loudly. Those angels, or in this case, our angel. And our sound team, our audiovisual team, our ministry of prayer, all part of the one. And that each person here has stepped forward today to say yes. Say yes to Spirit. Say yes to peace, yes to love, regardless of what shows up or the appearances thereof. At the very center of that space, there's peace. And I affirm that this center is the absolute epicenter of that peace, of that love, of that joy, of compassion and wisdom. And so it is with a heart filled full of gratitude and joy, I simply release these words into the law, knowing that they are manifesting themselves fully right here and right now in each and every one of us. In an agreement together we say, and so it is.
Beautiful. Thank you, Patty.
Oh, my absolute pleasure.
Beautiful. So now I have a question for Reverend Cheryl. Reverend Cheryl, when someone gives you a gift, you should show gratitude, right?
Yeah.
And the best way to show gratitude for a gift is to use it and share it and show it to everyone, correct?
Yeah.
Well, because Dr. Tom gave me a gift this morning at church. I want to show gratitude.
Okay.
See how that works? Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So,
We accept that.
That's not good. When funny goes to serious.
I do have superpowers. Gonna try it again. Good?
Good.
We'll just kind of be careful. Okay, I'm gonna do what Reverend Cynthia just told me to do. I'm gonna paint it red. So then I can get it out and then we can move on. My parents traveled from Europe to Canada and then from Canada to Reno. And they did that with another couple. And when they arrived in Reno, they both bought a house in the same neighborhood and have and continue to live 3 blocks from each other. About the time that I was born, they had a daughter. And she and I were inseparable. Inseparable. And that relationship grew, and it grew even stronger when we both revealed to one another that we were both gay. And we admitted later in life that to make all of the parents happy, we should have just gotten married and made personal arrangements on the side. And so last week, she decided that she needed to leave here. And today is her funeral. And God is good. I tell you this not to be dramatic, to just bring everyone down, but life is short, and life can change. Be in joy and bring joy to those around you. Never know what someone is going through. Enjoy your life. Okay, done. Thank you. So the title of my talk today is Accepting What Is. Right in line with Patty's song, And We Never Spoke. I become more convinced every day that we can have the life that we desire. I am more convinced today than ever before that we can have work, careers that are exciting and meaningful and purposeful. I am more convinced today that we can have really, really good relationships that are centered around love and respect. I am more and more convinced today that we can have the amount of money and the level of abundance that we believe we need to have a wonderful and large and fulfilled life. And yes, I am more convinced today that we can navigate through life with a body that is healthy and filled with energy and vitality. Now, why do I believe this? Because as I explore this thing called life, I realize that we have been given extraordinary gifts. We have been given the gift of life, of being alive and conscious. Yes? And it is not the kind of life where we were just created and sort of dumped on this rock to figure it all out. Living a life of toil and suffering, existing and dying, and then what remains of us to simply blow as dust in the wind. To the contrary, we have come to understand that we are much more than that. That life is much more than that. We understand that we are an idea in the ever-living mind of God. We have come to understand that we are an expression of the universe. We are God literally expressing itself in form. And what that means when we explore that is that we are God's power and creativity, and we are God's beauty expressed. We are royalty. So much so that what we see as royalty on this earthly plane pales in comparison to our godly royalty. As a matter of fact, we should be wearing crowns. I mean, we should be wearing crowns. And when people come up and they say, "How you doing?" we should be saying, "How am I doing? Check the hat." Royalty. And we just haven't been given life. It's extraordinary as that seems. But we have been given the ability to create. We have been given the ability to manifest extraordinary experiences. As students of the science of mind, we know that we have been given this relationship, this ability to co-create with the universe. And we know that this is done. We know that this is so because we are surrounded by a natural law. It is called the law of attraction. And this law of attraction is the very fabric of the universe. And it is in and through every single atom in the universe. And this law of attraction, this natural law, is a creative medium. And this creative medium that is in and around and through us is receiving our thoughts and our words and our feelings. And this creative medium has everything it needs to take this intangible and make it tangible. To take these intangibles and make them form in the form of people and relationships and circumstances and money and health. So we sum it by saying this: we create. One step further. We create depending on what we're thinking. One step further. We create depending on what we are thinking and accepting. One step further. We create depending on what we are thinking and accepting to be true. And the equation is this: what we accept to be true becomes our reality. Now notice I am saying accepting to be true. Because herein lies the danger of being a co-creator of our experience in a physical world. Let me explain. Because you see, our tendency is to go through the world and to observe and to see. And when we see things, our tendency is to say, "Oh, I accept that. I accept that to be true. I accept that to be true about life and my life." And what we just stated previously is the moment I say that I accept something to be true, the law then takes that and makes more of it in our life. So we must show diligence as we move through life and we see and we observe. Now, one way that we perhaps can stay on track and not get caught up in accepting that everything in the physical realm is the truth. As we walk through life and observe and we see, we can acknowledge the human experience. We can acknowledge what we're seeing in our world. But at the same time, we can accept and know the spiritual truth of that human experience. And you see, when we do this, we keep ourselves from moving into that loop of where we're continually recreating things. Yes? Now, one would say, why do I have to even acknowledge what's happening in my physical world? Two things. When we acknowledge our physical world, when we acknowledge the effects in our world, we can say, well, since I believe in this teaching, I must acknowledge that I perhaps created that. And then the second side of it, when I acknowledge what's happening in my physical world, that reveals to me what I'm thinking. And so when I acknowledge my human experience, I can pick out where I might have some stinking thinking. So, acknowledging has value. Now, I'd like to illustrate this point further. And as I was in contemplation and meditation around this idea, I was led to a part of Scripture in the Holy Bible. And so bring that up, Russell. And Jesus says in the book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 23, and Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them." And here Jesus is teaching us the difference between acknowledging the experience, acknowledging the condition, and at the same time knowing the spiritual truth of that condition. Let's take a few moments and break down what Jesus is trying to teach us here. 37 words. Probably the most powerful 37 words as human beings we could ever hear. And let's break this down into 5 parts. Part number 1, Jesus says, if anyone, now stop. Now, did you know that Jesus was the first Oprah? Now, if you don't know that, I encourage you to go to the Old Testament. It is in the book of Oprah, chapter 7, verse 9. Because you see, Jesus says, if anyone. So what he is really saying is everyone, just like Oprah would say, everyone gets a manifestation. You get a manifestation. You get a manifestation. You get a manifestation. You get a manifestation. Everybody gets a manifestation. And I wrote a little note here because Charlottesville, Jesus said, anyone. Takes us to point number 2. Jesus continues. He says, if anyone says to this mountain, well, now wait a minute, Dan. It appears that Jesus is accepting this mountain as real. Now, admittedly, it would probably seem odd to the folks around him as they're walking on the mountain and seeing the mountain and feeling the mountain, if Jesus said, you know, I know you can see it and feel it and we're walking on it, but it's not real. And they would say, the Messiah is cray cray. It seemed pretty real to me, right? But what Jesus is doing is he is acknowledging that this mountain exists in the physical realm. He's acknowledging that this mountain is an effect. It is a condition. But what you will see in the next moment is he is not accepting this effect, this condition, to be the whole truth of the mountain. Let's move forward to point 3. Jesus says, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea. Go throw yourself into the sea. So now Jesus is saying, you know, I acknowledge that this mountain exists in the physical realm. But what I accept to be true of this mountain is that it is only an effect. It is only a condition, and a condition can be changed. Because Jesus knew what we are learning in the science of mind, and what we are learning in the sciences of quantum physics, that really this effect, this condition, this mountain is pure energy. And what Jesus is teaching us is that this energy can be moved and changed and directed and redirected simply by the power of how we think and how we speak. And I love the idea that Jesus uses a mountain to illustrate his point. Because, you know, a mountain is, you know, they're huge, right? He says, go throw yourself into the sea. And I love the example he uses as he's teaching us how we should be directing our thought, how we should be directing our word, how we should be commanding the law. Go throw yourself into the sea. Direct, specific, confident, power-filled. 6 words. And that takes us to point number 4. And Jesus says, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, stop. So the great master teacher now says, now is the time that you must believe without the shadow of a doubt. Now is the time that you must absolutely believe that what you want to happen is happening, has happened right here and right now. And Dr. Holmes, our founder and the author of the Science of Mind textbook, tells us, you know what, gang? I have a technique that you can use that will allow you to have this kind of belief and this kind of faith. Page 186. In treating, we must turn entirely away from the condition. Disease and limitation are neither person, place, nor thing. Turn entirely from the condition or limited situation to its opposite, to the realization of health, happiness, and harmony. And then he goes on to say, never limit your view of life by any past experience. The possibility of life is inherent within the capacity to imagine what life is, backed by the power to produce this imagery or divine imagination. It is not a question of failing or succeeding. Now listen to what he says about manifesting what you want in your life. It is simply a question of sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. The illusion is in the way we look at things. We have looked at poverty, degradation, and misery until they have assumed gigantic proportions. Now we must look at harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until they appear. Sticking to an idea. I have sat down in the morning and written a treatment for something in my life, and I'm like, my God, Joel Osteen's going to call. And I'll be right over. And then I get up from the table and I completely discount everything I just wrote. Sticking to an idea. So what Jesus and Dr. Holmes are saying is this: if you want this, you got to quit looking at this. If you want this, you got to quit focusing on this. If you want this, you got to quit giving your energy to this. You got to start looking here. You got to start focusing here. You need to start moving your energy here. Because that is how you become a magnet to attract what you want. So that takes us to the fifth and final point. Jesus says, truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain condition, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, what does he say? It will be done for them. No ifs, no buts, no ands. It will be done. He says in 37 simple words, you're pretty darn powerful. You are surrounded by this natural law. And if you use it as it's designed, consciously, deliberately, with true conviction, with belief, what is he saying? It will be done for you. And again, I say, I love this example of a mountain. You know, as we stand next to a mountain, they are massive. Massive, and they're enormous, and they're huge. We look at Mount Everest, and it's overwhelming. It's daunting. And so Jesus reminds us that we are using a law that is so powerful that it can literally take up a mountain and cast it into the sea. And Jesus is saying then, you know what? You know that mountain you have in your life? That condition you have in your life? Well, know this, no matter how big that mountain is, this law I'm talking to you about can take it up and cast it out of your experience. And I know some of you will say, you know, you don't know. You don't know about my mountains. My problems have gone on for a long time. They're so big, they're so dark. There is no way to move these mountains out of my life. And Jesus and Dr. Holmes and Reverend Dan. How's that a category? Okay, I'll erase that. But Jesus and Dr. Holmes are saying, I'm sorry, but I beg to differ. And so I want to show you something. For those of you who have those mountains that you can't seem to move. Russell?
And then at 8 months, my son's father went to prison. And when my son was 8 months old, I went to the ATM to get $20 out the bank because I didn't have any Pampers for him. And in order to get $20 out, you got that $20 in. I had $11.42. And I still can't tell the story without getting emotional because it's my story. For 2 days, I had to wrap my son in a tie. But something happened, Steve, in those 2 days. My son laying on his back at 8 months. I have a towel over, and I have my hand on his stomach saying, don't you worry, Jaylani. Mommy will never be this broke again. And I made a decision. I was bankrupt. And every stinking thinking I had, I was bankrupt in trying to protect my pride. I was bankrupt in trying to be all that in a bag of chips and a bowl of grits falsified. I was bankrupt in trying to not ask anyone for help. I was bankrupt in everything that was holding me and keeping me where I was. I've always talked a good game, but I wasn't doing anything with my game. And all that thing about potential, I was tired of having potential. I wanted to have my now. And I looked at that baby at 8 months and I said, I want to transform your life. Because you didn't ask to come into this chaos. As an African-American male child in South Central Los Angeles, with a single mother whose father's in prison, he had a 66% chance of going to prison himself. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. So I have to be willing to drastically transform myself so that I can become the woman that I know I can be. And that's what I began to do. I was radical. See, my grandmother said that conviction and comfort don't live in the same block. If you're going to be convicted about something, you might have to go through some discomfort. But if you want to stay comfortable, why don't you just relax where you are, because that's where you're going to stay. And so are you willing to reinvent who you are? Are you willing to kill away the procrastination? Are you willing to kill away the excuses, the blame game? I never let people call me a single mom by my title. I'm Lisa Nichols, who happens to be a single mother. Don't define me by my circumstances. Define me by my intention. At some point, I have to stop asking, can I be great? Can I be brilliant? Can I be okay and still be accepted? I just stopped asking permission and just gave notice unapologetically, not in a braggadocious way, not in a way that shrunk anyone else, in a way that said, I only got one life, and I'm gonna ride this one till the wheels fall off. And that was the beginning of me rescuing myself. I realized that I am my rescue. No one else is my rescue. I am my rescue.
Lisa Nichols acknowledged her condition, and then she accepted the truth of her condition, the truth of her life. She accepted the truth of her power. And Miss Lisa Nichols, where is she today? Lisa Nichols is an American businesswoman, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and an author who has a net worth of $5 million. Wow. She is the CEO of Motivating the Masses, which is one of the top training and development companies in the world. I am here to remind you today that you are royalty. And you are powerful. And you aren't just standing here alone trying to create something. You are a co-creator with the entire universe. And today, I ask you to stop looking around, because you know what? You are your rescuer. You are the one with the power. All my life, I have searched for someone to dig me out of the hole. And what I have learned here is that I am the one that I was looking for. Because not only do I have the power, I am the only one that can use that power to change me and my life. And so today, I remind you that you can move mountains. You can cast mountains up and throw them into the sea. So this week, I want to drive down the road, and I'm going to have to swerve and brake and move out of the way. There are going to be all these mountains flying all over the place. I love you all. Have a wonderful week. Thank you. So we'll have everyone stand and connect. And again, I reiterate what Reverend Cheryl said. Please see a minister or a practitioner if something is happening and you need a moment of prayer, because with this ministry of prayer, they are not going to let you fail. Not on their watch, okay? So just take a deep collective breath with me, if you would, right now. And I just celebrate the idea that all there is God. All there is God, and it is good and very good. And what I know then is that I, as everyone else in this room, is God in expression. And I and each person here is good and very, very good. And so I just know right here and right now that the universe is love. And I just focus that energy and that love in Charlottesville today. I know for that area there is peace and respect and acceptance. I also know that tomorrow is a big day for many of the little godlings. And so I send with each of them protection and confidence and strength and respect and acceptance. And so I give thanks knowing that each and every person arrives to their next destination safely. And I know that each and every person here casts out of their lives that which no longer serves them. I give thanks for it all. I am so blessed. And now I release my word into the perfect workings of the law. I know that the universe has this. I let go, I let God, and together we say, and so it is.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.